This is Mr. Anthony Yarde, Beast from the East, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I am Faisal Khan, and welcome to episode 2 of the Lights Out Boxing Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined today by Mohsin Gulsher, aka Ron, and the Walshmeister,
Yes.
Luke Anthony Walsh. How's it going, boys?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good to have you guys on today. Today for episode 2. Before we get started, let's just talk about subscribing to the channel. For those of you that haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to keep up to date with us on social media, check out the description in the video. All of our links to our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages are on there. And just keep up to date with our local interviews, with our press conferences, weigh-ins, public workouts. All be uploaded onto our social media. To keep on following us on social media, keep the support going. Right, guys, let's get down to it. Today we're going to be talking about a very, very familiar face in boxing, and of course in British boxing as well. We'll be talking about the man from Bolton, the pride of Bolton that he likes to be called, Amir King Khan. And it's an interesting one, because when you talk about Amir Khan, you have to mention, what he's achieved. Look at him as a former Olympic silver medalist in the Athens game in 2004. And even though he didn't win the Olympics, he didn't win the gold medal, a couple of months later he beat Mario Kindlon, who's going to go down as one of the greatest amateurs of all time. And then you look at the professional side of boxing, a former two-time world champion, in the super lightweight division, beating the likes of Marcos Medana and Andrei Kotelnik, Marco Antonio Barrera, Devin Alexander, Chris Algieri. It's been a fascinating career for Amir Khan. Luke, start with you. Get the thoughts on Amir Khan. What have you made of him and so far in his professional career?
The thing is, I remember when he won that Olympic silver in 2004, and he was one of the standout stars of that games. And what he did over the next 2 to 3 years, in terms of not only did he bring boxing back into terrestrial TV, and he fought his way quickly through the ranks as well. He fought Graham Earl once upon a time. I think that was 2007, 2008 he fought him. And ever since, he's just been gone on this journey, which is set. He's etched into boxing history.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never forget the time where he had that jelly legs moment. I can't remember his opponent, but he absolutely did not show up to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's been world super lightweight champion in his career as well. So I think his career has been interesting. Certainly the last fight against Terence Crawford, if that is to be his last fight, it is not the way he should be going out. But on the other side, he's been going for 15 years, and in boxing, that's an awfully long time.
We'll also look at what other stuff he's achieved as well in the amateurs and the pros. A gold medal winner at the AAAU Junior Olympic Games in 2003, 3-time ABA Junior Champions, gold medal at the European Student and World Junior Championships as well. And of course, another fact that you've got to mention, his professional debut, he brought in a total of 4.4 million viewers on ITV when he fought David Bailey on his debut, and he stopped David Bailey in his first round. 4.4 million viewers, absolutely astonishing. But then you look at, the sort of bad side of the professional career. He's lost to great fighters such as Terence Crawford a couple of weeks ago, Canelo, Lamont Peterson, Danny Garcia, and of course that devastating first defeat in his career to Bradis Prescott. Ron, you've spoken very highly of Amir Khan every time we've spoken about him. What have you made of him losing them fights to them big names, and where do you think he goes next?
I mean, Amir Khan, whenever Amir Khan fight, it's exciting. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it was heartbreaking as a fan, young fan, watching him lose his first fight against Bradis Prescott. I remember that war with Maidana. That could have gone either way. There was question marks about his chin, but that's always been throughout his career about his chin. They say that he fights with his heart rather than with his head, and he's too vulnerable. And we've seen that again and again and again throughout his career. I mean, against Danny Garcia, against Saul Canelo Alvarez as well. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting. He's bums on the edge of seats at the moment, to watch. But he's got a remarkable record. But 5 defeats now. I think maybe it could be time.
But the thing is, very few fighters even get to have those sort of names on their portfolio. To have the likes of Garcia and Canelo Alvarez and Crawford, to have fought them, maybe win, lose or draw. The fact that they've gone toe to toe with them is still something to be said on their CV.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree with you on that. I mean, you look at the last two fighters he's lost to, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. They're ranked in the pound for pound bests at the moment. That's how good they are. We'll talk about that fight against Terence Crawford, which took place in April. Amir Khan lost. The fight was stopped.
Was it stopped? Was it?
It was stopped due to a low blow, and then it obviously went to the cards.
Yeah.
And Amir Khan did lose. I had him losing at least 4 of the 5 rounds that we saw.
He was getting smothered from bell to bell.
One talking point that we have to, we've got to bring up is the fact that he was being outboxed by Terence Crawford. Now, I've always watched Amir Khan in the past, and I've never seen that happen. So, Luke, is he now at that stage where when he's going up against the world elite, he can't fight at that level anymore? And when I talk about that level, I'm talking world level, and world level at the welterweight division currently is Terence Crawford, is Errol Spence Jr., is Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and even Manny Pacquiao. Luke, your thoughts?
You get to a point, I suppose, that to an extent in boxing, there is that sort of showmanship, and there's that. There's always a character element to the boxer, regardless of their record. And Amir Khan will always have that character, which will always keep him in the world picture. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he did carry on, and he took one or two lower level fights. But whether he could take a Manny Pacquiao fight in the future, possibly, because it's Amir Khan. If he takes it over to the UK, he's still going to pack out a stadium. If he takes it to the US, he's still going to attract a fair few thousand. So, regardless of what his record is or what his performance is, he's still going to draw.
Yeah, look, we can't deny one thing, that Amir Khan can bang. Whether you like it or not, if you try scrap with Amir Khan, the guy can bang, and he's got tremendous speed. He's got brilliant power. He can knock anyone out on his day. Amir Khan can bang. But as you just mentioned, it gets to a point in everyone's career where you're not at that level. Ron, we watched the fight together that night, and you said it yourself, outboxed, something that you're not used to seeing with Amir Khan. Outboxed because he was up against a world-class opponent in Terence Crawford, or just outboxed because he's kind of past that level now?
I mean, it's quite interesting. I just read something that Virgil Hunter said in an article recently, and he said the following thing: his timing is off, his distance is not where it should be, he doesn't have a sense of range and distance, and those things are due to age. He's kind of age is catching up with him.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw in the other fights when he lost against Canelo, he was boxing really well, keeping that distance, and he was winning most of those rounds. Not saying he's winning all the rounds. Against Danny Garcia, until that tragic kind of shot he received and he went down, he was boxing really well. So that against, Terence Crawford, pound for pound.
It's funny you mentioned Virgil Hunter, and he said that because he's also said today, I'd like to see him commit to camps between fights and work on weaknesses.
Yeah.
So obviously that would be the chin, perhaps becoming a more organised fighter, to see if his skills are gone or if he's just letting them decline. He never has practice between fights. He trains hard for 10 weeks, but it's not enough. Luke, that's coming out of Amir Khan's trainer and Virgil Hunter, and this is coming out towards the end of his career. Your thoughts?
I just think it's just interesting, because I guess the older you are, the more experience you have under your belt, the more, I guess, complacent you can become, because you've had the experience in the ring. I mean, to an extent, there was a reason why Carl Froch and George Groves decided to hang up their gloves, and even recently they've been teasing whether they can go one more time, and certainly I would be the very first person to be overjoyed if they do come back for one more fight. But as for Amir Khan, he's not on that level, and whether you're boxing for your first fight, your 10th fight, your 100th fight, it's about practice, it's about training, and if that's how complacent he's being in the camp, then clearly he's doing something wrong. But then again,
I think
he formerly had Freddie Roach in his corner. Could it be that maybe he's learned too much from Hunter?
You've got to look at it. The fact that we've obviously got our opinions on it. The boxing world has got their opinions on it. But if that's coming from his own trainer, then surely something's not right in camp. Ron, What do you make of the comments from Virgil Hunter?
Well, look, I mean, Amir Khan's been through a host of world-class trainers. I mean, not just Virgil. I mean, he had Freddie Roach in his corner. He had Joe Goosen in his corner. You know, there were always these technical kind of issues that he had. You know, the weak chin. But Virgil Hunter, you know, we know who he's worked with. We know what he's about. You know, he's worked with Andre Ward. He knows a fair thing about kind of keeping that distance. And we didn't see that in that fight. That was missing.
What really bothers me in all of this is that I'm thinking, fucking hell, I mean, you've achieved so much in your career, you know, you've got to a stage right now where can you not just, you know, you ain't got to be that exciting fighter that everyone expects you to be. Be more organised, be better defensively. Don't go gung-ho all the time. And it just seems to me when you're watching an Amir Khan fight, he is, you know, for a guy like Crawford or Spence, you know, or Pacquiao, he'd be a dream to fight against, because all you've got to do for me to win, to beat Amir Khan, is you've got to engage him into a scrap, and it just looks so easy to do. And Luke, I mean, that's exactly what's separating him right now from the likes of Spence and Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. But, you know, there's still a massive possibility with a chance of fighting Kell Brook. Something fight fans really want to see now. We always say we saw Pacquiao versus Mayweather too late. Is this the exact same case with Khan and Brook? If it does happen, are we seeing it too late, or do you think this is the right time where it needs to happen?
Yes and no. There's an old thing in professional wrestling where you almost fantasy book and you almost want to see fights happen in a certain order. If he goes after Brook, you'd want to see him have one more fight against Pacquiao after or before. So if he's confident and if he can convince himself and confidently say he can take on Kell Brook, then he can take on Manny Pacquiao. So I would say let's have it. I would say somewhere in Sheffield, or somewhere in, if the Macron Stadium in Bolton, let's have it there, and let's see what happens, because I think that would be, if he loses, I'll quit. Then that is something I want to see. Ron, what do you think?
I've got to disagree with that. I think Pacquiao's been, you know, he's been in great form. I mean, recently when he beat Jesse Vargas, he looked convincing. He looked, you know, even though he's over 40 now. Now he's going to Thurman.
Don't forget the performance against Adrian Broner as well.
Exactly. So I mean,
the performance that Broner still thought he won.
But then we're looking at Broner, who's been that fighter that's never really reached his potential. And then we're looking at Jesse Vargas, who is over 40. I mean, Amir Khan's still only 32 years old. And Pacquiao's now at an age.
I think the hunger's gone for Amir Khan. I think that's it. I think it's more about not about the boxing legacy. It's about him being a cash cow.
Well, he's made a lot of money. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. He's made a lot of money.
5 million out of that. I mean, in the Crawford fight, made 3 million out of that. Canelo fight, I know that Virgil Hunter did not want to take that fight.
Yeah.
You know, he openly out said he's too big for you, and he was, you know, goddamn, he was right.
Are we now at a point where, me personally, I want to see him continue, because I do want to see that Kell Brook fight. But the question I asked to you guys, and the question I asked to the viewers as well, what's next, Luke?
What's next for Amir Khan?
Retire, carry on fighting.
One more fight against Kell Brook. At least one more fight.
Ron?
And if he beats Kell Brook, Manny Pacquiao.
Ron?
Well, I mean, that's a good point that you raise. If he beats Kell Brook, then potentially Manny Pacquiao. But I think Manny Pacquiao's at levels above Amir Khan. I mean, he was chasing after that fight. You know, if I was his trainer, I'd want him to have another warm-up, tune-up fight. You know, get that hunger back in him again, getting him training again. But look what Virgil Hunter said. He trains hard for 10 weeks, and that's it. If you know, you can't have it hot and cold.
But if Khan is as good as he wants to be, then he can make Kell Brook into a tune-up fight.
Oof, big words. I mean, Kell's no slump, is he?
We ran, Babe. Listen. we ran a poll on our Instagram today, and don't forget, guys, if you want to check out Instagram, the link is in the description of the video. And we ran a poll, and the question was, what next for Amir Khan? Retire or carry on fighting? 65% said retire. The other 35% said carry on fighting. And then, of course, you know, we raised this question on the Boxing Updates group on Facebook. Great group to get involved in. People, don't forget, the description is in the link for Boxing Updates is in the description of the video. It's a great boxing group to get involved with, and you can enjoy a lot of boxing banter, a lot of boxing debates, there's predictions, stuff like that. And we read out some of the comments. I'm going to read out the best comments that we got from this question. Comment from Carl Lewis. He should retire. His last 2 fights were poor. His hand speed seems to have slowed, and any punch resistance he had, which wasn't much, seems to have completely gone now. He was involved in some great fights. Got another comment from Ricardo Bryan. This was a great comment. Losing to Crawford was never the problem because that was exactly what was expected. It's the way he went out. He quit. That will never leave him, and people won't look at him the same. I believe in Amir Khan as much as anyone else, but he looked bad against Terence Crawford. There are levels in boxing, and Amir Khan is not at that level anymore. I only see Khan having a potential big fight with Kell Brook, but that won't be anywhere near as big as it once was. Strong words from the guys on Boxing Updates. Luke, your comments, your thoughts on the second comment. Not at that level anymore, and he quit.
He didn't quit up. I don't think he quit. He got.
But he did not take the 5 minutes that he was entitled to, though. Let's remember that. And I'm
Yes,
not
I
slagging
agree,
him off
yeah.
or anything.
Yes.
He did not take the 5 minutes.
But the other side to it is, if he hadn't thrown the below the belt shot and it hadn't been put into confusion, Terence Crawford would have finished that fight in another round, 2 rounds that would have taken him easy, unless Khan was holding something back. Then it just shows that he was never going to really theoretically going to come back into that fight. But yeah, I think he didn't quit. He did not say I've had enough. He did not throw in the towel. But he did should have taken the 5 minutes.
Ron, but we're going to ask your thoughts on the first comment that I read out. He should retire. His last 2 fights he's been poor. Punching power's gone and he seems slow. What do judging by them last 2 fights against Samuel Vargas and of course Terence Crawford, do you think Carl Lewis is right in what he said?
I mean, people are frustrated. This is what we loved about Khan: that lightning hand speed, the great boxing skills. But we knew he didn't have much of a punch resistance. I mean, as demonstrated in the past 4 fights he's lost, and he's been knocked down heavily. I mean, I can understand where Carl Lewis is coming from. What is there to see? I mean, that Kell Brook fight. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not as big as it was a couple of years ago. I mean, Khan was kind of saying, "Oh, who have you got on your CV?" Now Khan's picked up a loss since then. I mean, the loss that Kell Brook picked up was against who was it? Against Errol Spence and I mean, 2 brilliant, credible kind of boxers in also in the top pound for pound list.
100%.
So I mean, I'm undecided. I mean, he needs to find that hunger. That hunger's gone at the moment for him in terms of boxing. I think he's thinking about the money side of things. I mean, that's where it is. And as a boxing pure fan, that's quite disappointing for me.
At least Carl Froch and George Groves both went out on a high.
Yeah, you could. Well, George Groves lost his last fight, but he before that, great performance over Eubank Jr. and of course he fulfilled that childhood dream by becoming a world champion. But we want to know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. What do you think should happen next with Amir Khan? Do you think he should continue fighting, or do you think he should call it a day? Right, guys, we've got a special guest joining the show. Tunde Ajayi, yes, the master genius, all the way from London, East London, and we all know Tunde and Anthony Yarde are getting ready for a big fight coming up with Sergey Kovalev for the WBO light heavyweight title. But we were lucky enough to get Tunde's thoughts and his comments on this topic that we've been discussing. Let's bring in Tunde right now.
Dream it, believe it, become it. You know the set.
Exactly. Yes, that's what it's all about, Tunde. That's what it's all about. Firstly, Tunde, obviously, before we bring you in on the main topic, give us a quick update on the beast from the East, Anthony Yarde. How's training camp going, and how's preparation going for that big fight against Sergey Kovalev?
Well, I always tell people we don't do camp. We've never had a camp. And if we did have a camp, it started in 2015, May the 7th. That's when the camp started. It's a continuous learning, continuous learning, and we'll be ready. We stay ready. We don't, prepare any different for any fight. And we're about to do what I've always known Anthony was going to do, and that's become the WBO world light heavyweight champion of the world.
Perfect. And how do you approach this, going to Russia and fighting a world champion in Sergey Kovalev, a very experienced world champion who's fought some great fighters over the year, and a fighter that's
Yes.
just recently won back the WBO light heavyweight title.
Yes. Well, first of all, maybe 6 weeks out, we go 5 guys. And then we go Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Not really a good idea to be doing that before a fight, Tunde.
Who said?
Listen,
Who said?
you're the
I
trainer,
keep
bro.
telling you-
You're the trainer.
I keep telling you, man. Let me tell you something. The only difference between myself and Anthony Yarde is we vocalize what we do.
Mm-hmm.
All these fighters trying to pretend like they don't eat this food. Yeah, but I'm quite sure if you go to their houses or have a video cam on them after training, you might see them in Shake Shack. Or you might see them in McDonald's.
Listen,
They do it.
I think
They all do it.
I think
They
the
all do
chances
it.
of us seeing Sergey Kovalev in McDonald's a few weeks before a world title fight are very slim. But no,
Well, that's his business. But he has to because he knows what's about to happen. So he has to put everything on the line and do things that he doesn't do 24/7. So I'm expecting that from him, but absolutely is not going to make no difference to the outcome.
Rocky never had it easy when he went to Russia, but he still come out on top. You know what you guys are going to do different.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Well, why didn't he? Yes, he did. He had his own training camp. He had his family around him. He had all the things that he has when he's at home. And this is what I'm trying to say. People generally just repeat what people say without giving it any thought. There is no difference. It's a boxing ring. It's a boxing ring. You're in a boxing ring every day. The only difference, if there is any, is the fact that you got a crowd, TV cameras are there, and but other than that, it's the same. It's the same. I don't put any difference in my head because at the end of the day, you can talk about it, speak about it. When all's said and done, it's boxing skills on the night, and the better man will win, and that is Anthony Yarde by KO.
It's a fight we're all very, very much looking forward to. Tunde, just want to obviously get your thoughts on a current matter that's been discussed throughout the last few weeks in boxing. It's about the former two-time world champion in Amir Khan.
Okay.
His fight, of course, didn't go according to plan against Terence Crawford. He had to pull out in round 5.
Okay.
First of all, your thoughts on Amir Khan's performance against Terence Crawford?
Well, I didn't watch the fight. I was in New York.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony was in New York with Adidas. Obviously, Anthony is the Adidas global ambassador. So we was doing, my focus is Anthony Yarde.
Yeah.
I ain't really watching no other fighter. And when we got there, there was like, Amir Khan fighting as well. Like, what? Amir's my guy. But we had to fly back on I think the Thursday before the fight. But I saw the highlights and stuff like that. And I guess what are you asking me about the actual fight?
The actual fight, yeah. I want to get your thoughts about the actual fight.
Look. The only time I've watched Terence Crawford is when my great friend Spencer Fearon asked me to do a study when he was fighting Ricky Burns. And I said it then. I told everybody then, Terence Crawford is a tremendous fighter. And that's the only fight I've ever watched him for 12 rounds because we was doing the breakdown. And I knew then he was going to be a big problem in the world of boxing. But I can talk about Amir because Amir is one of my favourite fighters. Always been one of my favourite British fighters. And there was a time where I really wanted to train Amir. And Spencer spoke to his people. But, listen, God don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it never happened, but that doesn't stop me from being a lifelong Amir Khan supporter. And I think that people need to give him credit because he's done a lot for British boxing.
Yeah.
And regardless of the outcome, he's had a great career. Amir Khan could stop boxing now and feel vindicated and happy with all the achievements that he's done. I mean, how many world champions has Amir Khan fought?
He's fought quite a few world champions if you look
You
at
know what
it.
I'm trying to say? So what?
Terence Crawford as well.
So, okay, he lost the fight against a young, up-and-coming, great fighter. Amir is at the end of, understandably, Amir is at the end of his career. He is at the end of his career. And if he wants to carry on, then I'll still support him. I just feel that everything is timing. You've heard me say this so many times.
Every time I've interviewed you've always said everything is timing.
Everything is timing, and it's just Terence Crawford's time. You know, and Amir, nothing lasts forever physically. Listen to what I just said. Nothing lasts forever physically. Mentally, Amir's always going to be a champion and always going to feel that he can beat anyone that he steps in the ring with. That's just how it goes, you know. But the reality of the matter is that you have two fighters who are at the opposite end of their careers. You know, Terence Crawford is just getting started. Amir has been to the top of the mountain, had the shirt, worn it, raved in it, you know, raved in it, had a few drinks in it, and now it's time to abdicate. You know, like in Coming to America, where you say, I denounce my throne. I'll give it up. Just give it up, brother. It's not your time. Your time's done.
You've always got a massive spring in your step, Tunde. Every time I speak to you, it's always an interesting conversation. Now, obviously, that fight, you know, had to be stopped in the 5th round. A shot, you know, it was a low blow. Amir Khan was unable to continue. Refused to take the 5 minutes that he was entitled to, and Virgil Hunter said he was literally, it was impossible for him to continue. And now you've got a lot of fight fans, even a few pundits that are saying that he quit. Your thoughts on that, on those comments, Tunde?
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the people that are saying that he quit. But what I can say is this. Let them get in the ring. Boxing ain't no joke sport. I keep telling people, it's easy to sit down behind a computer or a television screen and say a man quit. But they ain't in that position. They don't know how Amir was feeling at the time of the shot. If Amir said it was a low blow and he couldn't recover, then that's what it is. I'm taking his word for it because I'm a supporter. I'm not a hater. I support the brother. So, and I keep on saying, I keep telling people, don't, what people do, they maximize minimum negativity.
Yeah.
You understand? It's only a few people saying it. But what we do, we enlarge it. And my thing is this, just like on Twitter and Instagram, if you come with negativity, straight block. I just block you. I don't even engage in it. I ain't looking at Amir for, hold on. So then you can say Barrera quit.
Yeah,
when
point.
When Amir fought Barrera, they're talking about him in great light. So let's stop all this thing and start supporting our homegrown athletes. And stop looking at the little negative. It's like when you do something for somebody of good, and then the one little bad thing you do, you get judged for it. You understand?
100% agree. Yeah, definitely.
It's madness.
You know, I mean, obviously, our topic today is, should Amir Khan carry on fighting, or should Amir Khan sort of call it a day? And every time I've spoken to you about a fighter calling it a day, your answer's simply been, I can never tell a fighter to call it a day. A fighter should only call it a day when he feels as if it's right. So I'm not even going to ask you that question. The question I want to ask you is, who next for Amir Khan? There's a lot of talks about a massive fight with Kell Brook, a fight that, you know, the boxing world wants to see. And, you know, many fight fans believe that not only does Kell Brook but Amir Khan, they both, you know, both of them have to give the fight fans that fight. You know, they both owe it to fight fans to make sure that fight happens. What do you think the chances are of that fight happening, you know, especially with the fact that Amir Khan's just lost to Terence Crawford and Kell Brook looks as if he's going on another path?
Yes. Well, first thing, Amir don't owe no one nothing. He don't owe no one nothing. Because those people weren't there when Amir was getting up in the morning and going running. When Amir had to deny himself Shake Shack and chapatis. They weren't there. So he don't owe no one nothing. It's like I always say, it's what he feels is the right thing to do. Now, if you're asking for my personal opinion, the question Amir has to ask himself, does he want to go out and finish his career with that performance? That's the question Amir needs to ask himself.
Yeah.
If it's not, then me personally, this is what I would do. I would say to myself, I've had a fantastic career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still one of the biggest drawers in British boxing. Who's the British champion? Who's the British champion that Amir's with?
In a welterweight, it's Chris Jenkins. He beat Johnny Garton, I think, at the Royal Albert Hall.
Sign off. Massive fight. Where's Amir come from? Manchester, innit?
Amir's from Bolton, Tunde.
Bolton, okay. Bolton Arena or Bolton SC. Final fight of his career against the British champion. Give Chris the biggest payday of his life. Sell out, farewell fight. Amir Khan v Chris Jenkins at Bolton FC. Boom, done, finish.
It's not a bad idea, but many of the the boxing public want to see that fight with Kell Brook.
Yeah. Listen, I keep telling people, listen, let Kell Brook go on Kell Brook. This is what I'm trying to tell you. See, when you ask Tunde Ajayi questions, I'm not giving you the
direct answer.
No, not the direct. I'm not giving you the local or the global answer, which is the answer where everybody just follows. I'm thinking about the best interest of the fighter.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the best interest of the fighter. Now, Kell Brook, I believe, deserves a massive fight. A massive fight, not on just a British level, on a world level.
Yeah.
Kell Brook should fight Terence Crawford.
I mean, there has been obviously
fight.
talks about that fight being made within the next couple of months.
Yeah. That's a massive fight. That's a massive fight for him. A massive payday for him and his family. And let me tell you something. No one ain't gonna really remember the Kell Brook Amir Khan fight in a few years' time. No one ain't gonna remember that. No one ain't gonna remember that.
It has
because,
kind of lost a massive appeal to it at the moment, as we speak.
Because when the fight was meant to happen, it never happened. It never happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, what are they gonna say now? They're gonna say the fight happened, just like with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Oh yeah. If that fight had happened years ago, it would have been a different outcome. So you know that's what's gonna happen. If Kell and Amir fight, none of them are gonna say or have the thing in their mind that, you know what, I thought this man at the peak of my career.
Yeah.
And this is it. There always is. So you have to understand, life is polarity. There's always a positive and a negative for everything. So I'm like, Amir Khan's been a great ambassador. If he's going to sign off fighting Chris Jenkins, British title, Bolton FC. Kell Brook's been a great ambassador, a great champion for the sport. Sign off in the biggest fight of your career. Let him have an opportunity to test his skills against the very best, which is Terence Crawford. And then, if Kell comes up short against Terence Crawford, then let Amir fight Kell Brook. That's what I say. I'm matchmaking it. Hey, see, I keep telling you, I'm going to be a great promoter.
Do you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing you as a promoter one day. I'm looking forward to seeing you host press conferences as well. They should be very entertaining.
Trust me, because I'm talking the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts, but it's the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So 100%. I'm like, Amir's had his shot. Because remember, it's about the marketability of the fight and of the fighter. You know, it's not just, the fans want to see this fight. Some fans wanted to see, a lot of fans wanted to see Amir against Terence Crawford, more so than they did Amir against
Kell Brook.
You see, because it's a global sport. So, yes, the British people have their opinion, but on a global, you know, Amir probably looked at the finances and thought, you know what? Terence Crawford is a bigger fight. And now Kell Brook's in that position where he can say Terence Crawford is a bigger fight than Amir. And then what you do, as I say, I would like Kell to come to win that fight, being a British fighter. But if he doesn't, then let's make the Amir and Kell Brook fight. Yeah, that's what I believe.
Tunde Ajayi, listen, mate, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today. And listen, before I let you carry on, I just want to wish you the best of luck out in Russia.
Hold on, wait there.
I can hear the barber in the back. Sorry.
Yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear you getting that fresh trimming.
Hold on. Let me get my plug in. Big up Stamina for hair. Eddie Adam. Trimming as we're having trimming as we're having the talk. This is how we do things. We keep it real.
Definitely one of a kind, Tunde Ajayi. No, but before I go, before you go, I just want to wish you guys the best of luck out in Russia. I'm going to be rooting for you, and 100%.
Stop. There's no luck. KO.
I'm going to be rooting for you guys, and I do believe 100% that Anthony Yarde will become the next WBO light heavyweight champion of the world. But Tunde, honestly, thank you once again for your time. Really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to catching up with you guys soon. And once again, thank you very much for today.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
You too.
Dream it, believe it, become it. Lions in the camp.
You know how it goes. Tunde Ajayi, thank you for talking to Lights Out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Interesting interview there.
Always a pleasure talking to the master genius. He's such a character, isn't he? Boys?
Only Tunde Ajayi would do an interview live from getting his hair done.
Well, he's got personality, hasn't he?
He has.
You know what?
You gotta.
I've been very fortunate enough to have spent a lot of time with Tunde, and he's a great guy.
He made some good points though.
He did, which we're going to bring up. 1 point, fight for the British title, win it in Bolton, call it a day, beat Chris Jenkins. That's not really the level Amir Khan.
I told you, Amir Khan at the Macron Stadium in Bolton would be what he would seem a decent ending. And I think for anyone, I guess, for example, 50, 60, 70, well, I don't know why 50, say 30, 40 years down the line, we have Linus or Kay Prosper wanting to hang up their gloves, and they come and do it at Power Court. That's the way to do it. You do it on your home turf. You do it on your home soil. You do it where it all began. And I think not many fighters get to do that. And I think
he's ever fought at the Macron Stadium, has he? Any time in his career.
No, he made his. I know he's fought there in Bolton a few. I think he has fought in Bolton a few times, but I'm not too sure about the Macron. But anyway, let's move ourselves away from that. Let's look at some of the main points coming from Tunde. Doesn't owe the public anything. Yes and no. Me personally, I think the fight with Kell Brook is owed, because if you've claimed that you're going to knock Kell Brook out every time, you know, that question's been raised to you, you've got to go in the ring and you've got to deliver it. One thing that's pissing us all off is that we're not seeing Wilder versus Fury. We're not seeing Fury versus AJ. And I personally don't think Fury and AJ will never happen. And I do think Wilder and AJ will happen, but at a point somewhere down the line where it's just going to be too late. But listen, Brook versus Amir Khan, I think it's owed.
I'm going to pull you up there. I think we will eventually get AJ against Fury.
Not going to happen.
And I think,
but that we're not.
I think that'll be Wembley Stadium written all over. And if that is the case, I am salivating over it already.
Listen, Walshmeister, I will host it in my back garden if it means I get to see it. But it doesn't. But look, right. Regardless, he probably doesn't owe the British public much. But does he owe the Kell Brook fight to the British public? Luke?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes, we've got to see it. You know, it's every fan, they're both great British kind of fighters in that same division. Why haven't they fought already?
That's true.
He's called him up on, you've got no names on your CV. Now he has. And Amir Khan, where does he go from there? He's got nowhere but to go to Kell Brook.
Another thing Tunde mentioned, that Terence Crawford is a young, great fighter whose time is coming up now, and he reckons Amir Khan's time at that level is done, basically. So is that Tunde's way of saying don't fight the likes of your Errol Spencers, maybe your Sean Porters? But this is boxing. One punch changes everything.
Yeah, as we saw at Deontay
Bernard
Wilder.
Hopkins was a world champion at an age past 45. I mean, this is boxing. Anything can happen in the sport.
The thing is
Shannon Briggs thinks he's still the best heavyweight in the world, and he's not for family years. Let's go, champ!
It comes back to my point earlier, what I said. It's about hunger. It's about that drive, that motivation. I mean, B-Hop, he had that hunger, motivation at that, ripe old
Do you know what I will say? I will say one thing. I do really hope that Josh Kelly looks at someone like Amir Khan and wishes that he has the same sort of career, but if not better.
There is sort of that passing of the torch moment, maybe, for a young fighter like Josh Kelly to take on Amir Khan. I think that can happen.
Not only for
Would
British
you put
fighters.
in a Josh Kelly versus Amir Khan?
No, doesn't make no sense for Amir Khan. For Josh Kelly, it's the biggest fight of his career, but for Amir Khan, makes no sense in terms of money and in terms of going forward.
Him
in his
out
career.
once as well, Josh
Yeah,
Kelly. I think
him and Adam Booth are very confident they knock out Amir Khan. But again, listen, it might happen one day.
Yeah.
But like I said, not only has Josh Kelly got to look at someone like Amir Khan and think, yeah, that's the type of career I want to be, but I want to do it a bit better than maybe Amir Khan has. But you've also got other good Asian fighters out there, British Asians, Hamza Shiraz, Raza Hamza, Shabazz Masood, and if they can have the career that Amir Khan's had, or even have half of it, then perfect.
Let's come on to Anthony Yarde.
Yes.
Kovalev.
Yes.
Now,
just took the words right out of my mouth there.
In Russia, anything can happen. And I think for someone like Anthony Yarde to go and fight Kovalev on his backyard is, and it's somewhere as politically difficult as Russia, is a tall order. Rewind 5 years to 2000. No, it wasn't. I want to say that. When was Tyson Fury against Vladimir Klitschko?
2015.
2015. When Tyson Fury went to Vladimir Klitschko's backyard
Dusseldorf.
and he won, and the odds were stacked. Even when the card, the match card said he'd won, a lot of people thought Vladimir Klitschko would still have edged it, but he did it. And it's very rare that you see that sort of setup and you see people coming away.
I said to Tunde that Rocky never had it easy when he went to Russia, and he goes, "Oh no, he didn't. He had his own, But I'm just looking in hindsight. I'm just saying, well, he had his own training camp. He had his family there. But what I think Tunde didn't understand my point where I said that hostile crowd. This isn't. We're not talking about going down the O2 or going to York Hall or anywhere else you would expect. You're going into Russia, and you've got a deal going into that fight as the challenger against a good fighter like Sergey Kovalev, who's just won back the world title run. This is a different ball game that Anthony Yarde's walking into.
The thing is, he can't just win, but he has to win well.
Yes,
that's the thing. It can't be just great at edging a point. That might get him over. Might be enough to win it at the O2 or the one of those kind of British kind of stadiums. But there, you've got to go, like you said, it's his backyard, so he has to do it in style. And Tunde Ajayi has full confidence of his fight. I've never seen a trainer that supportive of him. He made controversial comments saying that his fighter is probably better than Andre Ward. He would beat Andre Ward.
It's a massive statement to make. I think the closest to that statement is when Eubank Senior said, "My son will be better than Floyd Mayweather one day."
Yes.
That's what he said.
Yes, because Eubank Senior would be the new champion.
Luke, how do you go to Russia and win a world title? Unless you watch Rocky 4.
How do you
go
to Russia and win anything?
Yes.
I don't even know how England managed to do it at the World Cup.
Has the fight come at the right time with Kovalev?
Deontay Wilder.
Well, Deontay Wilder did it, but we all know what. But no disrespect to who Deontay Wilder beat for the world title. I mean, talking about Sergey Kovalev, who's just won the world title back. But he's at an age now where that fight might have come at the right time for Anthony Yarde. And, looking at it, Luke, a lot of people talk about, well, he should have fought Buatsi, he should have fought Callum Johnson. Has this fight come at the right time for Anthony Yarde, or do you think he's taking it a bit too soon?
I think it's come at the right time. I think looking at Kovalev's past, he's fought Bernard Hopkins, he's fought Andre Ward twice. Yes, he's lost twice, but he's still gone in the ring with them twice.
And he's just won back the world title of Alvarez,
So I think this could be if Anthony Yarde goes to Russia and does it, that'll be a huge statement of intent in the light heavyweight division.
What they say about boxing is about timing.
Yeah.
And Tunde Ajayi made that point
lots of times
on
our
he made
interviews,
about Amir Khan there, that he was at the wrong end of
watch.
his career and Crawford is at the right end of his career. Now he's kind of applying that theory to this kind of situation here, saying that his fight is on the up, Kovalev's on the down. Kovalev's obviously had some heavy defeats against Alvarez and also against Andre Ward, where he was knocked out. He's known as the Crusher. Is he losing that power? Is he losing that invincibility that he had?
Of course. If you lose to Andre Ward, you're no longer invincible.
No.
It's similar. Yeah. It's similar to Klitschko getting beat by Tyson Fury. It no longer, although Klitschko will forever be Klitschko. That night, Klitschko was as normal as you.
Changed everything. It changed because no one expected that. But I personally think Anthony Yarde will win this fight. I think he will stop Sergey Kovalev. But
You're going for a stoppage.
Yes. But there's no harm if Anthony Yarde loses this fight, because I think if he does lose this fight, which I don't see happening, it'll make him a better fighter.
Yeah.
And he needs this experience. I mean, let's just look at Callum Johnson when he fought for the world title. was it against Beterbiev? Yeah.
Yep, it was.
He knocked down Beterbiev. And even though he lost the fight, even though he got stopped, he can take away the fact that I put down a world champion. And had I been a bit more experienced, who knows what I could have achieved. And that will only do wonders for Callum Johnson's career. And this is why I'm saying full credit to Frank Warren, because they've got Kovalev at the right time. Yes, they've got to go to Russia and do it. But it makes more sense to go to Russia and do it because it increases his credibility. And as Tunde said, it's only a boxing ring. The fight fans do not fight for you. The only two in that ring will be Yarde, Kovalev, and of course the referee. But I personally do think the time has come now where Anthony Yarde will go to Russia and he will beat Sergey Kovalev.
I mean, leading up to it, I mean, there was lots of kind of critics saying he's taking too many of these easy fights. Why is he not fighting for anything? So he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. So I'm glad he's actually taken that step. So hopefully he can.
I still think it does wonders for his career.
Absolutely.
And of course, Luke, just get your thoughts on Tunde saying he's going to knock out Sergey Kovalev.
You can never you can never stop dreaming, and I think if like I said, if Anthony Yarde can do this, he is on the map, and it'll be yet another British fighter who's flying the Union flag, and it will be another step towards becoming one of the next generation of decent British fighters.
We've got Charlie Edwards, we've got Josh Warrington, we've got Billy Joe
Exactly.
Saunders, we've got Anthony Joshua, and I might have missed another British world champion out. I do apologise if I have. But how brilliant would it be to have Anthony Yarde as another, British world champion? It'd be brilliant, and that's what I really want to see. The British fighters go out there and become world champions. And you look at some of the talent we've got. We've got Josh Boatsi, Josh Kelly. We've got some great fighters so far coming up in boxing right now. And of course, you want to see British world champions. And I think right now, Anthony Yarde will become the next British world champion. Just want to thank you guys for joining me today for the podcast. Luke, always a pleasure. Ron, thank you very much. Quick preview for our next podcast.
Yes.
We'll be bringing you the... Do you know what?
One of the biggest fights of the year. Finally, Anthony Joshua will fight in 2019 as he fights in Madison Square Garden. And the undercard itself is set to really change the game in boxing, as we have Katie Taylor about to unify the women's boxing division, and a lot more of boxers who are coming onto that undercard.
Callum Smith defends his world titles against...
It's going to be huge. We're going to have all the preview to that on next week's show.
Yes, 100%. Like I mentioned before, please, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We could really do with as many subscribers as possible. We are on all social media websites: Twitter, Lights Out Boxing; Instagram, Lights_Out Boxing; Facebook. Join the Facebook group, which is Lights Out Boxing 1. Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for everyone who listened to our podcast today. We look forward to catching up with you guys next week. And this is Faisal Khan signing out from episode 2 of the Lights Out Boxing podcast.